Hey guys, Michael here. Never let it be said that you all do not have a positive influence on me because you most certainly do. And I'm going to use today's video as an example of that. So a couple of days ago, I did this video, Does this mod improve diplomacy? And I talked about Katsuko's diplomacy logic and balance mod. And I basically talked about some of the things I liked about it and some of the things that I didn't care for about it. And I basically said, I'm not going to be using it moving forward. But then I did end my video basically saying, I think this is going to be, some people are going to like it and other people won't. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong. And well, anyway, when we take a look then at the comments, yeah, some people pointed out to me some different ways of looking at this that I had not really thought about myself. And so I decided, you know what? You guys make a compelling point. At least I need to give it a second chance or give it a little bit more time. And so that's what I want to talk about here because, yes, you're absolutely correct. I like it more the more that I use it. And I want to talk about 3 different examples in game in order to show you what I'm talking about. So the first example that I want to use is with Gorbad Ironclaw. And this goes back to what I was saying in that previous video, which is Gorbad is at war with the dwarves. I'm coming along and I'm offering to join his war against the dwarves. And, come on, the dwarves are the enemy of both the greenskins and the Skaven, of course, so doesn't that make sense? And so I was thinking it doesn't really make sense that he says, no, I'm not interested in you joining my wars. I'm not going to give you any money. In fact, I want you to pay me money in order to join my war. Well, obviously, I'm not going to pay him any money to do that. I would just declare war outright if I wanted to. But in any case, what we see here, it's a change from what you see in vanilla, which is that a faction is just not automatically going to pay you money to join one of their wars. Instead, it puts a little bit of extra logic into it. And so in this particular case, what he's saying is, yeah, you're offering to join my wars. I don't need your help. You're quite frankly not close enough or not strong enough to really offer that much in terms of the war that I've already got well under control. So yeah, I don't need you. So basically, as the player, you're not able to just abuse this mechanic in order to get free money. And it doesn't matter. I offer to join either one of these wars against either one of these dwarven opponents. And in both cases, he's just flat out not interested. Okay, you know what? I'm starting to see the point that the people made in the comments the other day that, yeah, this makes sense. If it's just not that much of a benefit for someone like Gorbad Ironclaw to have an extra person joining his war since he's already got everything under control, at least as he thinks at this point in time. But here's where things get a little bit different from what I was talking about the other day, which is the case of Skarsnik. I want to show you here how strong Skarsnik is compared to how strong Thorgrim is. And Skarsnik is at war with Thorgrim as well as with some other factions. And so what we have here is a little bit of a different situation. I am friendly with Skarsnik. And Skarsnik is losing his wars. And so let's see how this changes the equation. So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, Skarsnik, how would you like an extra settlement? And he is basically saying, no, an extra settlement doesn't really do me much good right now, particularly not one that's not built up very much. So then I say, hey, Skarsnik, how would you like for me to join your wars? And he says, yes, please. And depending on how strong these enemies are, he's willing to offer me more money as we go up in strength in terms of his enemies. So in other words, if I offer to join his war against Thorgrim, who is his strongest enemy, he's willing to give me the most amount of money of any of the 3 of them. So suddenly now this is making more sense. He's basically saying, I am going to give you money to join a war if it really is going to be of some use to me, whereas Ironclaw said, I'm not going to give you any money to join this war because, quite frankly, I don't need you. So that is those are the first 2 examples with Tretch. I want to show you one more example here then, which is Tzarina Katarin Tzarina Katarin is who I am playing as here, and we've gotten to a point in this campaign where we're doing pretty well, but poor old Kastalton over here, he has been almost completely wiped out. His military is wrecked, and he is finding himself at war with Clan Baldur and with Azazel. And so I come along and I say, hey, how would you like Zavastra? This is an extra settlement that you can have. And he says, yes, please. Yes, I need more land. I need to get away from where I'm at right now. So he's not even particularly friendly with me, but he's in such desperate situation now that we're seeing a completely different dynamic than what I was seeing when I made that video the other day, which is he's desperate. And so, yes, he is willing to pay money for another settlement, but even more so, I now am saying, okay, well, that worked. What about if you want me to join your war? Let's say you want me to join your war against Azazel. How much would that be? Yes, he is more than happy to give me tons of money in order to join the war against Azazel. And we're going to see the same exact thing if I offered to join the war with Clan Mulder. Now, I'm not going to do it, but yeah. As you can see, this does provide a different dynamic, and thank you to those of you who explained this a little bit better than I could in the comments, which is basically it is going to be situational, it's going to be circumstantial, it's going to basically be the faction is going to be more willing to give you, the player, money in order for you to give them either a settlement or in order for you to join their wars based on their actual situation and circumstances. So if they're fighting a war that they're losing, that's the number one thing. If they're starting to look more and more desperate, then obviously it starts to look better and better to them for you to join their war, or possibly to give them some extra territory to try to help defend. If they're in fear of, you can thematically, you can think about this in any number of different ways, but it would make sense to basically say, okay, I'm afraid I'm going to lose all my territory, so you're offering to give me a new home, so to speak, some new land. Okay, anyway, that's all I had for you, but I did want to circle back and talk about this mod a little bit more and basically say, yeah, I probably needed some people to push back on me a little bit so that I gave it a second chance, thought about it a little bit more, and I've come to quite appreciate it. So it is something that I've changed my stance on. I actually will be using this moving forward, and if I find any other crazy examples to show related to it, I'll let you know. But at least at this point, I'm a lot more comfortable using this diplomacy mod. I do think it is an actual benefit over vanilla, particularly if you're the type of person who doesn't just want to be able to abuse the AI. All right, so anyway, that's all I had. But again, thanks everybody for the comments. I hope that you can see that it really does make a difference, and I will go ahead and leave it there, and I will see you all in the next video.